Welcome. I'm Alice Alicia Jones, and this is another one of my Living Consciously videos. I'm getting feedback literally from several continents of people that are watching. They find me through whatever means, whatever they're searching, and then once they search, they continue to look at what else I've posted. I try to post on a different topic every single day based on my own readings, based on the study that I have done of spiritual materials. And today I'm going to cover the work of Dr. Masaru Emoto and his book from the New York Times bestseller list, The Messages in Water, or messages, yeah, hidden messages in water. And I'm going to try to show you, I know it's very difficult on YouTube uh, and on Facebook Live to give you a picture of what I'm talking about, but I'm going to bring it as close as I can to the camera so that you can see it. Dr. Emoto has been a featured um, subject in What the Bleep Do We Know? This was a movie that came out about 20 years ago, scientifically oriented about everything spiritual. And it was really interesting. He passed away a couple years ago. But I feel that the importance of his work was just beyond compare. Scientists do not credit him with the experiments that he did. Apparently, over 10,000 experiments in freezing conditions. Because in order to get the pictures of these ice crystals, he recognized he couldn't be in an ordinary temperature room, a room of ordinary temperature, because the ice crystal would melt. And he was down to the absolute um, finest, the smallest element, almost like trying to photograph snowflakes. And well, it was really photographing snowflakes, but it was the ice crystal of water under different conditions and in different places. He basically traveled around the world and took water samples from so many different places. He left us with four books. The two which I own are the True Power of Water, Hato, Healing and Discovering Ourself, and Hidden Messages in Water, which was a New York Times bestseller. Like I said, scientists discredit him because of the fact that they feel that he didn't use a scientific method in terms of a control group and a however else they would have wanted it done. He didn't have that. All he did was continue to perform the microscopic and of pictures, to take microscopic pictures of water under different conditions. One of the things that, and I will continue this next week because I just need time to do a little bit more research on it. But one of the things that I was so flabbergasted and taken aback by when I first saw his work was how sound affects your the cells in your body, how the sound of words it absolutely can destroy the composition of your the crystalline form that you are. And interestingly enough, Stop to think. Our world, if you photograph it from the Pacific Ocean, you will see that that whole 50% of what you photograph is water. And what is around the Pacific is called the Ring of Fire. But turn it around and get the part where all the continents are, which is I think that was Pangea, as it split apart billions of years ago. Um, you still have many, many places of waters. You have lakes, you have rivers, you have streams, you have eddies, you have, small oceans like the Indian Ocean. And and you have continents. Antarctica. I know Arctic is not a continent, but it's a tremendous repository of ice, or ice that's melting right now, but nevertheless ice. So effectively, I personally feel that our Earth probably has the same composition that we have. 70% of the Earth is water. Our bodies are 70% water. Water is something that I can't tell you how many times I have been admonished to hydrate myself. And I can remember there was one time I was sitting in a class, and as the teacher was talking about the properties of water and why we need to hydrate ourselves, the water level in a closed bottle of water, just a regular little Deer Park bottle of water, went up, went down, up, down, 3 times, up, down. So it was like we would look at it, and I mean, it was so obvious what was happening to it. The What I wanted to cover today is Dr. Emoto photographed Lourdes and got an ice crystal similar to this, the water at Lourdes, where the Blessed Mother appeared to Saint Bernadette and told her to start digging in the soil, uncovered a stream, and then miraculously, and I have had friends that have gone to Lourdes, uh, the people that go into the water come out. When they come out of the water, their clothes are dry. So they are not dripping wet. And there are so many uh, things that have been left behind, glasses, crutches, canes, bandages, incredible things that have been left behind um, from people who have been healed from the water. The books are There's 4 of them out there. I know they're still in print, but the thing that fascinated me, uh, probably, more than anything, was how the words love and gratitude also influenced the water. I was at, again, another, class, and I bought this blue bottle, and it does have the word gratitude etched into it. But I have been told that, and I haven't tried this yet, but I've been told that if you take the words love and gratitude, paste it to the bottle, paste it to the bottom of a bottle. It can be blue, can be clear, and you will get the same effects. So you will receive the benefit of a crystal that is almost identical to this, because the crystal that says love and gratitude is this crystal, which is almost identical to the crystal from Lourdes. A little bit more solid on the interior, but absolutely fantastic. So I I'm really, really pleased. I live in the Washington metropolitan area, and I wanted to show you when he did the water from Washington, D.C., the top crystal is that water. The bottom one is from New York City. And so I was very, very surprised. I have 2 children who live in New York City, and I was very surprised that I absolutely love their drinking water. I do not feel the need to, to either use bottled water or to purify the water with a filter of any type, straight from the tap. And in reading this over today, I discovered that they use cedar. The vats that store the water are actually lined with cedar and as a purifier. And so that's pretty far reaching. Um, I also wanted to show you Stonehenge, the water at Stonehenge, very similar to the water at Lourdes, because anybody who has been to Stonehenge knows that that's a power point of the earth. You can stand anywhere within, I would say, 100 yards of Stonehenge, and you can look in 360 degrees and you can see all around you. Even though it is slightly lower, the elevation makes it possible for you to see everything in 360 degrees. It was a plane. I have seen a few of the PBS specials on Stonehenge where they have discovered almost a entire city, or what passes for a city in those days, around the parameter in terms of foundations, in terms of roads, in terms of housing, all underneath. Um, I'm not sure exactly what the technology is called, but I think it's infrared, that they use the infrared to reveal that. They're doing the same thing in the Amazon forest because at first, it was thought that the Amazon jungle was not populated. And what they have discovered that this is not the case at all. The Amazon jungle has maybe 300 at least now, possibly 800 in the past, indigenous cultures that live along the Amazon River today. And the obviously the indigenous cultures are horrified as to what is happening to the Amazon. Hopefully, most of that burning has stopped now because it was effectively the Amazon is part of the lungs of the earth. And the soil that holds the forests is absolutely not suitable for farming. And they're logging it, they're taking down the trees, and they're putting it into grassland to raise cattle. Well, ain't gonna happen. I mean, they might get 4 years, 5 years out of that, and then the soil is gonna wash away because it's the roots of the trees that held the soil in place. And it is not meant to be grassland. It is not meant to be prairie. It is not meant for farming, for any kind of grain growing at all. And like I said, hopefully with the change in administration in Brazil, that they have hopefully put a stop to it. But there was, I think it was in the Museum of Natural History. I know it was in the Museum of Natural History in Washington, D.C., when you walked into one of the exhibits about the population of the world, where they showed how fast the Amazon was being destroyed. And you would just see red lights go up as to how fast more of the land was being burned. Um, that was maybe 6 years ago, 7 years ago. They've redone so much of the exhibits. I haven't seen that recently, but it doesn't mean it isn't there anymore. I just haven't seen it and everything. But I do want you to be aware of the fact that there is a huge effect on your body when you use words of praise versus words of adversarial conditions. And I'm going to cover that next time since I try to keep this to 20 minutes. Um, Sometimes I'm successful, sometimes I'm not. But I do recommend that you find the movie What the Bleep Do We Know? And my husband and I went looking for it maybe this past 2 weeks. And probably YouTube is the only place you're going to find it. So, and because we couldn't find it through the regular streaming services, but I think it came out about 20 years ago, and it would be well worth your time invested in watching it because it's a scientific explanation of so many spiritual matters, including what I'm just talking about. And I know the scientists maintain a very rigid protocol. They have their standards, and if you don't meet their standards, they dismiss the work. Well, obviously, Dr. Emoto did not meet their standards. He did not have a control group. And I really don't know in his case how he would have a control group, but nevertheless, he was dismissed. His work was dismissed, but that doesn't mean it's not important. And so I bid you adieu. And if you need a meditation book, you read 2 pages a day of Own Your Power Day by Day. I strongly recommend that you get it. I've had, again, phenomenal reviews on it recently. Well, throughout from the time I've published it. And if you need more information on what I do and would like to find out more about my work, it's on my website, Alicia, Alicja Jones.com, and you can tap into my website. If you can't remember that, all you have to do is remember Alice Jones Psychic. It'll take you to the same place. So, again, I bid you adieu. I'm so glad you're here, and I will see you in a week. Thank you.
Interstellar Duet Masterclass. I was playing Interstellar when a man arrived.